Welcome to the verdict zone. This isn't about motivation. This is an autopsy. Today, we're dissecting a family conflict where $60 a week has ripped open old wounds about fairness, adjustment, and the unintended consequences of trying to do the right thing. Father pays one child for the use of their space. The other child gets nothing. One calls it a business deal. The other calls it favoritism. This isn't just a rant. It's a receipt. And we're about to examine every single line item. Meet David and his two teenagers, Chloe, who's 17, and Kai, who's 15. The family recently went through a tough relocation to be closer to their aging grandparents who needed more support. Around the same time, David's job shifted to a hybrid model, meaning he now needed a dedicated home office. The problem was space. The only two viable options were setting up in the main living room or using one of the kids' bedrooms during school hours. Wanting to be fair, David presented this as a choice to both Chloe and Kai. The response was immediate and divided. Kai, still angry and resentful about the move, flat out refused. He was already struggling with the change, and the idea of his father invading his only private space felt like the last straw. Chloe, on the other hand, saw an opportunity. She was adjusting much better to the new town and, seeing the practical side of things, offered up her room. She even joked about charging him rent. David took her seriously. His company gave him a $20 day allowance for working from home. So, he struck a deal with Chloe. $60 a week, cash for the use of her room. From a logistical standpoint, the arrangement was perfect. David got his quiet workspace, and Chloe had a nice little income stream, but the peace didn't last. The real problem started when Kai realized just how much money his sister was making. $60 a week is a lot for a teenager. He became enraged. Felt like he was being punished for being unhappy about the move, a move he never wanted in the first place. David tried to reason with him, reminding him that he drove them back to their old town regularly to see friends, but Kai wasn't hearing it. The situation exploded into a massive argument. Siblings started trading vicious insults, digging into all the raw emotions tied to the family's upheaval. To de-escalate the fight, David suggested Kai spend the night at his grandparents' house, just to give everyone some space. Kai agreed and went, but the conflict followed him there. At the grandparents' house, he got a split verdict that only made things more confusing. His grandmother sided with him, telling David he was clearly favoring Chloe and being unfair. But his grandfather had a different take. He told Kai that he was offered the same deal. He said no, and now he had to live with the consequences. He had his chance, and he lost it. So let's break down the core of this conflict. The charge against the father, David, is that he is unfairly favoring his daughter. He's monetizing his presence in his own home, and most critically, completely ignoring his son's obvious emotional distress about the move. He's treating a family problem like a business negotiation. The defense, of course, is that this was a fair, arm's-length transaction. It was an open call. Both children were given the exact same opportunity. Chloe saw the value, provided a service, and is now being compensated for it. Kai refused to provide that service, so he doesn't get compensated. This isn't about favorites. It's about choices and consequences. A real-world lesson. But here's where we're not just angry at a system of contracts, we're disappointed in the excuses. The excuse to treat a no from an emotionally struggling 15-year-old with the same cold finality you would a business colleague. The excuse that a spreadsheet showing financial fairness automatically equals emotional fairness in a family. We have to look at the context. Kai isn't just refusing a business deal. He's acting out from a place of genuine loss and displacement. He feels like his life has been turned upside down without his consent. So was his no really a firm rejection of the offer, or was it a desperate cry for help? A grab for some small bit of autonomy in a situation where he felt he had absolutely none. On the flip side, should Chloe be penalized for her maturity and her entrepreneurial spirit? She adapted to a difficult situation and found a way to benefit from it. Is David teaching a valuable lesson about recognizing and seizing opportunities when they appear? Or is he accidentally creating a toxic family dynamic, where one child's success is seen as the other child's direct loss? This isn't just about $60. It's about what that money represents to everyone involved. So here's the moral judgment we need to sit with. When you're a parent, does being transactionally fair ever risk becoming relationally unfair? Does a child's no, especially when it comes during a time of turmoil, require a different response than just a simple denial of service? David saw a logistics problem he needed an office. He applied a market-based solution. He paid for the space. But families aren't markets. Children aren't employees or vendors. Kai didn't see a business proposal. He saw his last private sanctuary, his only retreat from a world he didn't ask for, being negotiated away. Chloe saw an opportunity. Kai saw an invasion. Our verdict: David is the asshole, not for making the deal with Chloe. That part was fine. He's the asshole for how he handled Kai. He completely failed to see the deeper issue bubbling right under the surface. He saw a defiant teenager, not a hurting child, telling a kid who is already in pain that he's out of luck because he missed a business opportunity is a catastrophic failure of empathy. He managed a situation, but he failed to lead his family through a crisis. The $60 isn't the real problem. The problem is the message Kai received, loud and clear. Your pain is irrelevant to the economy of this house. Your feelings don't factor into the bottom line. This was an autopsy of a parent who solved a problem correctly but handled a child incorrectly. Now, what's your ruling? Was David being a fair dad teaching a life lesson? Or did he miss the point entirely? The comment section is now officially in session. Let us know what you think. If you're here for the facts, for the no-nonsense breakdowns of family dynamics, and the tough choices that define them, subscribe and join the verdict zone.